Alright, shalom.
Shalom.
We know we like to start by saying all praises to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, and double honors to the elders at Great Millstone. Alright, we come again through the spirit of truth, to prophesy against not only the so-called white man, but you other nations. Alright, because we always teach that the so-called white man is going into slavery and you other nations, but today we're going to focus primarily on you other nations going into captivity. Because the question we got for you other nations, when the so-called white man was bringing us here in captivity, where were you? What were you doing? Alright, because nowadays, in the future, the so-called white man, when another nation is doing something they call heinous, inhumane,
right.
That's a better word, inhumane to their own people, what do the so-called white man do? He go over there and he brings them up on charges against crime against humanity. But when the Negroes, alright, came over here to this side of the world in slavery, where were you other nations to prevent this? How come the Chinese, the Japanese, the Africans, the Hawaiians, how come they didn't stand up and say to the so-called white man, what you're doing was wrong and is inhumane? Alright, you commit crimes against humanity. But nevertheless, you other nations, you going to slavery right along with the so-called white man. Why? Because you had joint rulership in his kingdom. Alright, first scripture we're going to get is Lamentation 2:15.
Lamentation 2:15 reads, all that pass by clap their hands at thee.
Yeah, all that pass by clap their hands at thee. This is talking about the fall of Israel. Continue.
They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem.
Yeah, this is talking about the other nations looking down on the Israelites, which are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. They hiss, they wag their head. Read that part again.
They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem.
Yeah, they wag their head at the door. They're looking at you, wagging their head like, look at these people. Continue.
Saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty?
At one point, we were the city that men called the perfection of beauty. Continue.
The joy of the whole earth.
The joy of the whole earth, because everybody, all these other nations, which right in this day and age, they look down on us, but in the ancient world, all these other nations looked up to the Israelites. They looked up to David. They looked up to Solomon. Alright, they looked up to the people of the Lord. But now, since we're on the bottom and the Lord took our power from us, alright, he took our stature from us. So now these other nations look at us as basically the bottom of the barrel, alright, the low scum of the earth. Continue.
All thine enemies have opened their mouth against thee.
All thy enemies have opened their mouth against us. Alright, who's our enemies? All the other nations, they are enemies. Contrary to what a nigga believes, because a nigga believes that he don't have no enemy. Alright, he believes that, oh, there's bad people amongst everybody. But this the wicked that the Bible is talking about, the devil that the Bible is talking about. And your enemies is the so-called white man and all the other nations. Continue.
They hiss and gnash the teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly this is the day that we looked for.
Yes, we have swallowed her up. Certainly this is the day that we look for. So what does that scripture prove? The scripture proved that all these nations was waiting for the fall of Israel. Because the nations knew that once we sin against the Lord, that it was only a matter of time that the Lord was bring us down into captivity. Alright, that's the proof is in the book of is in Apocrypha.
Or Judith?
Judith. It's in the book of Judith. Alright, that proves that the other nations knew that if we sinned against the Lord, you don't have to get it. Okay. You don't have to get it. That proves that the other nations knew that if we sinned against the Lord, that he will bring us into captivity. But if we did right by him and kept his commandments, that no other nation could come up against us.
Yeah, come on.
Alright, so from there go to Psalms 83. You was done on that?
A little more.
Right.
It says, we have swallowed her up. Certainly this is the day that we have looked for.
Right, certainly this is the day that we look for. For all these other nations, this is what the day that we fell as a people, as a nation. That's what they was looking forward to, that day. Alright, they wasn't upset. Oh, poor Israelites. They didn't give a damn. They was happy because now they knew they could come into power. Alright, continue.
It says, we have found, we have seen it. The Lord hath done that which he had devised. He hath fulfilled his word that he had commanded in the days of old. He hath thrown down and have not pitied, and he hath caused thine enemy to rejoice over thee. Yeah,
the Most High caused our enemies to rejoice over us. So the scripture tells you that the Most High is the one who actually did it to us. It was not these other nations and the so-called white men through their own power. but the Most High set them up to punish his people. Alright, from there go to Psalms 83, 1 and 8.
Okay, a little more. It says, he has set up the horn of thine adversaries.
Yeah, the Most High set up the power. That's what the word horn means, of our adversary. The Most High gave the so-called white man and these other nations the power. Alright? To come against his people and to put us into captivity. Continue.
This is Psalms 83 and verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O power.
Alright, this scripture is going to go through all the enemies of the nation of Israel. Alright, that come together in a conspiracy that comes together, alright, to stop us from being a nation of people. Continue.
Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult.
Yeah, so if the Most High has enemy, the God of heaven and earth has enemy, what the hell makes you think that his people don't have enemies? Whoever's the enemy of the Lord is the enemy of his people. But 2/3 of you, I don't want to accept being the children of the Lord, the people of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Continue.
Right. It says, for lo, thine enemy make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
Yeah, so people actually hate the Most High. That's talking about the other nations. They hate righteousness. They hate the words of the Lord. They hate his law, statutes, commandments. Alright, so if they hate the Lord, guess what? They hate the people of the Lord who the Lord holds near and dear, who the Lord gave his law, statutes, and commandments to. Alright, who the Lord gave the ways of righteousness to. Continue.
I got the definition real quick of tumult.
Okay.
So that enemies make a tumult. Tumult means a turbulent uprising, a riot. It says a violent agitation of minds or feelings, a violent outburst.
Yeah, uprising. They came against the nation of Israel.
Okay.
Continue.
It says they have taken crafty counsel against our people.
Yeah, they have taken crafty counsel against our people. This is going into the Illuminati. All right, they have taken the UN meetings. All right, they have taken crafty counsel against that people.
Summit
meetings. Continue.
And consulted against our hidden ones.
And consulted against our hidden ones, which the hidden ones is talking about the nation of Israel. All right, because we hidden to the world, because the majority of the people in the world, they don't know that we are the children of Israel. But the elites of the nations, they know that we're the Israelites. But the so-called peons amongst all these nations, they don't know that we're the true biblical Israelites. Continue.
They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
Yeah, they said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation. So they don't want us speaking our language. All right, they don't want us dressing in the apparel of our ancestors.
Following the laws.
They don't want us following the law, statutes, commandments. They don't want us calling upon the name of the Lord. They don't want us in the Holy Land that was promised to our forefathers.
That's it.
Go
And they don't want this Judah, so-called Negroes, along with the rest of the Negroes, Benjamin and Levi, together with Issachar and the so-called Mexicans, the so-called Latinos, and the so-called Native Americans, all together as one nation.
That's right.
It says, they have consulted against our hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Yeah, that the name of Israel be no more in remembrance, because it's obvious the name Israel is still circulating through people's conversation. They know of the name Israel, but that's going into the true Israelites calling themselves Israel. They wanted to do everything in their power to stop us from referring to ourselves as Israel, as Israelites. And to an extent that worked for a period of time, but the Lord has brought everything to our remembrance. So now the elect, we know that we're Israelites. Continue.
It says, for they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate.
Yeah, they have consulted together with one consent. So all these nations are together in one consent to bring us down as a people. All right, and it's gonna go through a list of names of the nations that are against the Israelites, which are your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Continue.
It says, they are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom.
The tabernacles of Edom. First and foremost, the first enemy that the Lord mentions through the Spirit is Edom. Edom, which is you so-called white people. Continue.
It says, and the Ishmaelites.
And the Ishmaelites, you freaking dirty, stinking Arabs. You camel jockeys. You sand niggas. Continue.
Of Moab.
Of Moab, you Chinese. Continue.
And the Hagarine.
And the Hagarine, that's the family of the Hamites. Continue. Africans, so-called Africans.
Gebal and Ammon.
Gabal and Ammon.